Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Storytime. In this video, we're going to be looking at the subreddit Malicious Compliance. If you're not already a subscriber, do consider subscribing so that you never miss another episode. But for now, let's sit back, relax, and listen to some funny Reddit stories. One, my sister, I was taking a shower as per requested. I'm home on spring break, and Saturday night, after we finished watching a movie, I turned on the shower, got ready to get in when he sounds like the KGB. We're going to break down the bathroom door. I opened it expecting my dad to yell at me about something, but it's my teenage sister screaming at me to let her use the bathroom. So I get out, I let her use the bathroom. Then she comes out again, screams at me some more about how I need to let her know when I'm going to take a shower, goes back into her room and slams the door. I take my shower. I'm on a college sleep schedule, so I go to bed at 1 a.m. So the next night I'm doing some work and I start to get ready for bed around 12. My sister has high school the next morning, so she's in bed before I take my shower. I open her door and say in a loud voice that I will be taking a shower. Now I guess she did tell him to water, so she can't complain. Don't trust my judgment, have fun with a $300,000 fee from your customer. So quick background, I worked for a Korean car manufacturer as a quality control manager for 3 years, staying in 2010. My job was to inspect parts and make sure that everything was up to snuff before I left our location. This is incredibly important to the story. All right, for this one, we have IB as Idiot Boss. He's also Korean with poor English skills, so I'll be writing as he spoke, yet not trying to make fun of him. As my manager, Mo, as machine operator, and me. So at our location, we produce about 30 different parts that go into the frame of the cars. And most, if not all of these parts were welded by robots. If these robots are not properly maintained, the welds won't hold, and the pass will break when small amounts of force are applied. Which is, as you can imagine, not something you want to happen on a car. This machine in the story has problems every day. An idiot boss doesn't like to deal with it. Even though he's the only person that knows how to fix it while doing my rounds and checking the robots and the quality of the parts, the machine operator calls me over here. I think these parts are getting correctly. Okay, I'll take a look. I do a quick quality test and it fails horribly. Of the 8 welds, 5 iron holding shut down the machine. I'll go get Idiot Boss and get it fixed. I go into the office carrying 4 of the failed parts and begin showing them to my manager. And Idiot Boss, how many has the machine operator made today? About 200, give or take. This machine can easily produce 1,500 per day. So this was early morning important info. Okay, we need to do a random test on 50 and get the machine fixed. ASAP, all right, guys. I'm really sorry for this accent if it offends you, but it's the only way I could do the voice. No part is good, you test too hard. He trained me on how to test this machine because he had issues and it did the test per his instructions. I'm sorry about that, will you please come check it for me? He nods. We go out and he tests the pass so gently that the welds wouldn't break. See, you'll test too hard, putties. Okay, Idiot Boss, we have to fix these parts every day because of these issues. Can you please look at the machine and make sure machine is okay? You don't touch and don't check. I will do all, pad is okay. We argue back and forth for about an hour, me trying to reason with the idiot boss and him ignoring my concerns. I look to my manager who shrugs and tells me to leave that machine alone, which I agreed to do, knowing we will get help from the customer. This particular part is required on every car that is assembled, I think for per car, maybe more, depending on the model, and it is a key component to the car. It is added near the end of the process, meaning the car is fully assembled, and this part cannot be repaired at that point due to its location, and the whole car must be scrapped. And all of us know this, and thus begins the malicious compliance. We run this machine hard for 3 days, day and night, producing close to 9,000 parts that I am certain are all bad, but I don't actually know because I'm not allowed to check any of them. And I don't on the 4th day, the machine burns out a circuit board and can't function. But we had made weeks worth of parts already, so no big deal. But the 9,000 parts had been sent out to our customer. Now this is when everything goes south. Idiot Boss forgot that a customer also checks these parts and will complain and return any of them that are not up to snuff and bill us for them. They also keep records of how many are used out of each batch. A single part costs $22.50, and if it's bad, we have to refund them and also pay a fee of $6 per part on the ones that don't make it onto the car. If it goes on the car, we have to pay the entire cost of a car. Idiot Boss gets a call first thing in the morning on the 5th day. I don't know what is said, but he leaves to go visit the customer and spends all day down there. I asked my manager what's going on. So what was with that call? Idiot boss looked terrified. You remember how we didn't take that machine and let it run for several days? Yeah. Did they find the bad parts at customer warehouse worse? They assembled close to 100 cars, maybe more, before they noticed the issue. Idiot boss came back and tried to blame us before we reminded him that he told us not to touch the machine or test the parts. He was still pissed. But he couldn't do anything to us because we followed orders. Idiot boss got reamed by the CEO and COO of the customer company for 8 hours straight, and our company got a bill for over $300,000 for the scrapped vehicles, plus fees for the bad parts and a fine for sending bad parts. It's a good job that the customers actually look at it as well, because otherwise the cars on the road would not be very safe. Send money to claim my long-lost inheritance. I'm in, okay? So all of you have probably experienced the classic Nigerian prince inheritance scam. This is where you will usually be asked to send money, usually described as a fee, to be able to claim an even bigger sum of money. One day I decided to have some revenge when I received one of these calls. The scammer was giving his spiel about how a long-lost relative of mine had died, and I was the one to inherit the millions that was left solely to me playing along. I acted very excited and asked what needed to be done on my end. He said his legal firm needed a payment of £5,000 in order for the relevant paperwork to be processed. This is where I had a bright idea. I said to him that I did not have £5,000 in cash on hand. But I do, however, have a load of new electronics come in for my business that I could send to be sold. He jumped to the opportunity, so I went into my shed and started wrapping up a broken washing machine I had. I had also filled up the drum with multiple yellow pages to give it even more way, when I organized a special courier to come pick up the massive parcel. I said that the delivery fee would be paid in full at the other end. I paid a small deposit and off the package. When a few weeks later I got confirmation that the parcel had been picked up, and the full invoice paid on collection. I wish I could have seen the scow's face when he opened it. Want to threaten my job for being sick and ruining your day. Enjoy having your weekend ruined as well. Many years ago, I worked at a gas station on a college campus. Mainly the evening shift, Thursday through Sunday nights. The manager, I'll call her Wanda, was a total crap bag. She was constantly failing at her responsibilities, then blaming the employees. When the owner would mention something, I had been working there for about 4 years. When one morning I wasn't feeling well, I called around to see if anyone could come in for my shift 4 to 12, but no one was available. I called Wonder to let her know I was sick and unable to come in, since part of her job was to cover shifts when others cannot. She told me to be at work and on time or else I would be fired. So I took my sick ass up to work, and within an hour I was throwing up. I even threw it behind the counter. When I couldn't make it to the bathroom on time, I called Wanda and told her I had to leave as I was throwing up constantly. She got an attitude but said she would come in anyway. An hour later, she showed up complaining that I ruined her day, because she and her boyfriend were planning to leave to go on vacation that evening. I started to gather my things, and she asked me what I was doing. I said I'm sick and throwing up, I'm going home. She replied, I'm just here to watch the store while you get yourself together. If you leave, don't bother coming back, so I left. That's around 8th Wonder called to ask me where I was. I told her I was at home in bed, still throwing up. She told me I needed to come back to work so she could leave for her vacation. I reminded her of what she said before she left, and I said I was more than happy to comply. I hung up the phone and unplugged it. This is when landlines were still popular. I plugged the phone back in at 11:45 and called the store. Wonder answered, after a minute of ringing, so the store had to be busy. Usually there's a ton of college kids wanting to get alcohol before the midnight cutoff. I said something like, Wanda, it's Christine. I just wanted to let you know that I'll be coming by Monday to get my last check. And also, I agree to work doubles tomorrow and Sunday, so employee X could go home for the weekend. Good night, and unplug the phone again after hanging up. I had a cell phone at this point, but Wonder didn't have the number, so I didn't plug my phone back in. Until Monday, I went up to the office around 3 to get my last check, and Wanda was furious she had worked, though, an entire extra week's worth of hours in one weekend. And she was salaried, so no extra pay. She also got in a lot of trouble when the owner found out what she did, and I was rehired immediately. She was fired within a year of that incident. Someone then asked, wouldn't she make your life a living hell? Which Opie replied I got promoted to weekend manager, and was technically her equal. At that point, She also no longer had the ability to fire me, which the owner told me in front of her. She still tried to fire me on occasion, which I just laughed in her face, but for the most part I never saw her again. She conveniently left early for appointments on Thursday and Friday afternoons. Hey everyone, I hope you're all having a really good day and that you enjoyed that video. I loved reading all your comments and the likes have been amazing. Throughout the past few days, if you have any suggestions for future videos you want to see, then please leave them in the comments below. If you want to see some more stories, then click on one of the videos, that which is on screen right now. But for now, I will see you tomorrow.